My name is Matthew Richardson and I'm Curator of Social History at Manx National Heritage. Here with me today is an object that's going to feature in Manx National Heritage's new Military History Gallery at the Manx Museum. This object is a Bergmann MP18, MP standing for machine pistol, 18 being 1918, the year of manufacture. This submachine gun was introduced to the German army right at the end of the First World War, and it had the potential to be a game-changing weapon. Unfortunately, it didn't arrive with the frontline troops in sufficient numbers to make any sort of difference to the outcome of the war. And the example that we have here is actually serial number 1004. So it shows you how few of these were actually produced before the First World War ended. However, it went on to have huge influence in post-war armies, and it's really the ancestor of all subsequent submachine guns and light machine guns that came afterwards. But what's really interesting about this weapon is not just its place in the history of machine guns, it's the fact that it has a very interesting Manx provenance, because it was brought back to the Isle of Man by a gentleman called Robert Wilfred Callan, who had been the minister at Loch Promenade Methodist Church before the First World War. With the outbreak of war, he chose to enlist in the army and became a padre and served on the front line. He was right in the thick of the action in 1918 during the German Spring Offensive, and it seems likely that he acquired this weapon from a German soldier who was either killed or wounded around that time. Why a Methodist minister would choose a submachine gun as a suitable memento of his war service is a difficult question to answer, and one that really we don't have a satisfactory answer to. But be that as it may, Callan came back to the Isle of Man in the early 1920s, and before he left for another parish in the Bradford area, he decided to donate the machine gun to the Manx Museum. So it's been here since the 1920s, but its story doesn't end there, because in 1940, such was the desperate situation with the anticipated German invasion, that with the establishment of the Home Guard, or local defence volunteers as they were known at the time, there came an urgent call for weapons. They were so short of any sort of weapon that anything that anybody had would be useful. And the museum's register records that this very weapon was handed in at a police station for use by the Home Guard. And after the initial crisis had passed and the Home Guard became established, new rifles and machine guns were supplied to them, it was eventually returned to the Manx Museum as an exhibit. So it has a whole backstory far richer and deeper than the simple fact that it is an early machine gun.